Hey everyone, my name is Daddy Lester and welcome to another House Caraan video. So sa video nito, pag-usapan natin yung mga important specs at yung mga dapat mong consider kapag bibili ka ng bagong PC or laptop for your kids' online learning. So if you're interested, please keep on watching. So if you're a parent at may student ka ngayon, most likely naghahanap ka ng bagong computer or laptop para gamitin ng anak mo para sa kanyang online schooling. And one major challenge sa pagpili, syempre yung mga specs, yung sobrang dami mong kailangan i-consider. So, if you're not well informed, then it becomes very confusing and very challenging. Hoping that I could give you a good understanding dun sa mga basic na specs na kailangan mong malaman para you can make sure that you get the best value for your money. Sa panahon naman ngayon, marami ng affordable na options. The goal is makuha mo yung pinakamagandang specs possible dun sa budget mo. So, mabalance mo yung cost sa ano ba yung kailangan mo. Unang-una mong titingnan or pwede mong tanong sa computer store is yung RAM or short for Random Access Memory. Yung RAM is iba dun sa hard drive natin. So yung difference niya is yung RAM, siya yung temporary memory. Kumbaga yung mga computation, current processes, siya yung gumagawa nun. Pero yung i-store natin ng mga files, applications, videos, pictures, ayan, mapupunta lang siya sa ating hard drive. So magkahiwala yon. In most computers, pag 32-bit, minimum niya is 1 GB of RAM. And kapag naman 64-bit, then 2 GB of RAM. Pero the higher the RAM, of course, the better. So bakit ba importante itong RAM? Kasi aside from the current processes, siya rin yung mag-a-allow sa atin para makapag-multitask tayo sa ating computer. So the higher the RAM, the smoother yung pagbubukas natin ng mas maraming application. If you want to do video editing, if you open your video calling app, if you open your browsers, then doon magre-require siya ng RAM. So I would suggest if you want something that you can use properly for your kids' online learning, I'd suggest at the very least 4 GB of RAM. Pero if may extra budget ka pa, go for 8 or 16 kasi ayun yung isa sa pinakamahalaga para talagang maging smooth yung mga pag-process ng mga applications and we can multitask kasi for sure sabay-sabay yan. I've seen yung anak ko kapag nag-online class sila, andyan yung Zoom, andyan yung browsers of course, then open yung mga learning management system. So super important na mapagsabay-sabay yon. That's why kailangan ng mas mataas na RAM. Ang next na kailangan mo i-consider is yung ating processor. Ito yung nasa motherboard natin. So yung mga popular na brands ng processors is yung Intel and yung AMD. Honestly, I'm not a user of AMD so I can't tell you a lot about that brand. Pero I've been using Intel ever since. Yung taas ng processors depende dun sa ating core. Siguro nalagyan na yung Core i3, Core i5, Core i7. Of course, the higher the number, the faster. Pero isa pang consider natin is yung generation. Kahit pa naka i7 ka tapos medyo older generation siya, mas okay pa rin yung newer generation. Obviously, dinedevelop pa nila ng mas okay yung ating mga processors. So I'd say i3 would be good enough for online learning. Pero again, depending on your budget, you can go i5 or i7. If you plan on doing games and video editing, at the very least get the i7. Yung i5 is pwede na, pero you can still expect na medyo may konting lag and you can't really multitask as compared to getting the highest possible processor. So the next na kailangan consider is yung storage or yung ating hard drive. So there's two options. Meron yung HDD or hard disk drive. Meron din naman yung SSD or solid state drive. Ang pagkakaiba, aside from the price, is yung the way sila mag-process. If you notice, yung HDD, yun yung may parang umiikot na plate. Tapos, yun, medyo maingay siya. Mas mabilis din siya mag-init. Yung SSD is similar to what we have on our phones. Mas bibilis siya. So, if you are planning to do video editing, then it's much better to SSD. Pero for online learning purposes, then okay na siguro yung HDD. And again, this all boils down to budget. If you can afford SSD, you use that. Pero if HDD lang yung pasok sa budget mo, then get the bigger capacity. So, most computers now, 500 yung minimum, then 1 terabyte. And there's also an option to have a partition. Ewan ko nakikita nyo na sa computers, yung merong C drive and yung D drive. By default, isa lang siya. Pero upon installation, you can request or you can tell your tech person na hatiin mo siya. The advantage there is kapag dumating yung point na kailangan mag-reformat or to clean up yung computer, then safe yung drive D mo. Pero if you do wanna do that, you can also have an option to store your information on external hard drive or on the cloud using Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. So the next consideration is yung screen size. Obviously, the bigger the screen size, usually the more expensive. Yung mga laptops today usually range from 11 inch to 17 inches. If you're considering laptop, Of course, mas malaki yung screen, mas mabigat, hindi masyado portable. So, especially kung bata pa yung gagamit, then you might want to consider a smaller screen. Pero ako personally, I like bigger screens kasi it's easier to work on it. Mas malinaw, mas kita mo yung mga information na kailangan makita. Pero if you're using desktop, get the biggest screen that you can afford kasi you don't have to worry about portability in most cases kasi hindi mo naman siya dadalhin around the house. The next spec is directly related to screen size, which is yung ating resolution. So if you've seen yung mga 720 or 1080, those are screen resolution. Of course, the higher the number, mas malinaw siya, mas detailed yung information na makikita mo, mas maganda yung kulay. In most cases, 1080p would be good enough. If you have extra budget, then you can go for 4K or 8K resolution, pero that's overkill usually for online learning. So, yeah, stick to around 1080. 720 is still okay, pero mas standard na talaga ngayon use yung 1080 na resolution ng screen. Again, still related to screen size is size and weight. So, the bigger the screen, obviously, the heavier. Ito naman, mas consider mo kung ang bibilin mo is laptop. Kasi kung desktop naman, as I said earlier, steady naman siya in one place. Pero if you plan on bringing this to school, yung anak mo dadalhin to sa school, then you might want to consider yung lightweight and yung medyo portable talaga siya. In most cases, kapag mas slim, mas lightweight yung computer, like yung mga MacBook Air, mas mahal siya. Pero ako personally, I consider the performance more than the design and the look of the device. Kahit pa yung pinakang slick looking, maganda yung finish, portable siya and slim, and tas mabagal naman. At the end of the day, what you're aiming for is mas maging smooth and maayos yung pagtatrabaho or yung pag-aaral ng anak mo. Next up is yung operating system. So there's three most popular operating system, yung PC or Windows, then you have Mac, Apple, and then yung Linux. Pero in most cases, really just choice between PC and Mac. Traditionally, yung mga creatives, yung mga video editors, yung mga graphic designers, they're more into Mac. And then yung mga developers naman or mga casual users like us, then we use PC. And of course, the other consideration is usually mas mahal talaga yung Mac. Pero if you're already using iPhone and iPad, then I think it makes sense to get a Mac computer as well kasi mas na sila, kumbaga they're more compatible with each other. But again, I think it will boil down to preference. Whatever you can do on Windows, you can almost do on PC and vice versa. So that's not really a hard choice. Next up is connectivity. So you want to make sure it has enough USB ports and of course, Wi-Fi connectivity. So if you're using PC, then may mga nabibili na Wi-Fi adapter para you don't have to use LAN cable, especially kapag medyo makalat yung LAN cables, tsaka malayo yung modem mo sa pwesto ng computer mo. And of course, HDMI connection and yung ating mga ports for memory cards and other things na kailangan mo i-connect sa yung computer. Those are important kasi kailangan mo transfer ng files or yung phone mo kailangan i-connect. And obviously, there are things that you have to connect like your webcam, your hard drive, you have one, your keyboard, and your mouse. So, connectivity is very important. Last and final, I think the most important consideration is yung price. Of course, we always would want the higher quality or higher specs, pero boils down to what you can afford, diba? So, sa mga panahon ngayon, around 15 to 20K, you'd be able to get a decent specs, especially kung PC yung bibilin mo, kung desktop. Kung laptop naman, yeah, I mean, 15 to 20K worth of laptop is okay for online learning, pero don't expect too much. Most probably, you'll get the lower end processor. Kung ano yung pasok sa budget mo at magwo-work naman siya para sa purpose mo na online learning ng mga anak mo, then it should be good to go. So just a quick recap. So you have your RAM, you have your internal storage, you have your processor, you have your screen size, your operating system, and you have your price. Marami pang ibang specs that you have to consider kapag bibili ka ng computer, pero I think these are the more important ones. Once you get this covered, then you will have a good working computer for your purpose of online learning. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something today and apply this kapag bibili ka ng computer mo. And if you have questions, let me know. Put that in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you sa next video. Bye-bye.